May peace be with you. So good to have you here on this day. You're listening to my voice a lot. I'm another person up here, but there are a lot of voices in our life. A lot of voices sometimes telling us what to do or urging us what to do. And I want to think about those voices that you hear, maybe reading, watching things, listening to the people in your life. If you could choose a particular voice, or maybe what is one of your favorite voices, think about that. Would it be the voice of your grandmother? Sometimes for me, it's the voice of the head coach from Ted Lasso. Would it be the voice of Freddie Mercury? You know, it's amazing, high sound. Sam Cooke or Taylor Swift? Would it be the voice of maybe a best friend from high school? I'm going to ask you, tell me, what is the voice that you would like to listen to? But is it the voice of your yoga instructor? I'm just imagining, like, stand here with a leg like here, now go into a pose, breathe deeply, fire breath, balance on one finger. You can do it, you can do it. You want to listen to that voice? I don't. Who do you listen to? What's a voice you listen to? Boston Symphony? Krista Tippett, yes. On Being, is that right? Krista Tippett, On Being. Great voice, great voice. Another voice people listen to? Melissa Mitchell, yes. You listen to Melissa Mitchell, yes. Who's there online, yes. What's another voice we listen to? A dance instructor in the Caribbean, maybe? There are a lot of voices we listen to. So 15 days ago, I was listening to the voice of Stefano. I don't know if you've met Stefano. I was listening very carefully to the voice of Stefano. I was blessed with the opportunity to visit my daughter, who had just moved to France in the French Alps in Chamonix, and with her beloved Mike. And this is a place where there are year-round glaciers, just beautiful views, a nice, beautiful little French-Swiss valley, the bread and chocolates. I could just go on forever about that. But it was just, and it had the tallest mountain in Western Europe, Mont Blanc, at 15,700 feet. And a church I found that was built in the 12th century by the Benedictines. It was just amazing, a lot older than Belmont. And as we usually do, Karen and I chose to go on an adventure. It's something I do with my daughter. We go on adventures together. It's how I relate with her. And so we would ride the world's highest gondola, the highest elevation gondola, going from 3,000 feet to over 12,000 feet. It was high. It was very high. It takes a half-hour gondola ride to get up there. And at the top of the world's highest gondola ride was something called the Aiguille Midi. It's a needle. It sticks up there, and they built a little tourist platform on this needle. And you can buy gifts, get hot chocolate, things like that. And then we would disembark, because remember, I'm going on an adventure with my daughter, Karen. We disembarked, and we would then go ski the world's most famous off-piste ski run, just 12 kilometers long on a glacier, called the Vallée Blanche, or the White Valley, going down this glacial valley from 12,000 feet, almost all the way down, back up like 7.5 miles back to town. And it's accessible to, I want to reassure you, this ski piece is accessible to intermediate skiers, of which I am barely an intermediate skier. But, however, there's one thing about it, and that is that every year people die there. So that's why Karen, she loves me, and she hired a certified guide, ski expert, Stefano. And this is what Stefano said to us. He said, "Follow the sound of my voice and you will live." Stefano said, "Follow the sound of my voice and you will live. You will live." So I have to admit, the first part was one of the times I asked myself, what on earth am I doing here? Because to even get to the top of the ski piece, we had to cross along a ridge line. The ridge line's so narrow, we had to have a special backpack, put our skis on the backpack. We had to have a harness with rope. We're tethered into each other. And then we had crampons on our feet with these blades that would like dig into the ice of this ridge line that we'd then start to cross. And the ridge line, when I got out there, I found out that either side, they measured it, was a 50-degree angle on one side going down 2 miles to the little village of Chamonix down there. So Karin was in front of me tethered, Stefano was behind, and by the way, it's just 3 feet wide. So we're going down this ridge line, and so I watched some YouTube videos ahead of time, and I have to admit it was a lot scarier than the videos. So, and so we're going down, and actually I was very proud of myself. I was very calm and courageous, and here I am, and I could put one blade in here, and I'm sticking another blade, and the wind's going back. I'm totally calm until the party in front of us also roped together. One of their party panicked. They had to turn back, come back up past us. There's very little room, and then he slipped. And so he's there, he's sitting down, one leg's like over the edge. His guide is yelling at him in French, and yelling, and he's just babbling in fear. Fortunately, I do not understand many French swear words. He got up, went past us, and we got to the end of this ridge. It's a 10-minute walk along this ridge line. We get to it, and then we could start the intermediate level skiing of the 7. Again, this is how I relate to my daughter. We go on adventures together. And so it was a wonderful day, and basically Stefano says, if you want to live, listen to my voice. He said, like, this is a nice powder section, go anywhere you want. He said, oh, this section, you have to stay in my tracks. There are hidden crevices where you could go over the edge, and we just did that. And he'd say, free time, stay with me. And there was a certain part we had to like cross the glacier a couple times. And he said, in this section here, you will see crevasses to either side. Follow me, and you will live. And we did. Just back and forth, and you could see down in the crevasses, they go like 100 feet. It was like dark blue ice, going into the heart of the glacier. It was a beautiful day. We got to the bottom of the run. I took off all my gear. I went over to Stefano and I hugged him. I said, thank you, Stefano, for keeping us alive. Thank you so much. And so it was so exciting. Let's see if I can even show you part of that here. Here we are at the bottom. This is the world's largest gondola ride. There it is approaching atop the Aiguille de Midi. You can see Mont Blanc behind it. That's the view from the top of the Aiguille de Midi. You're on top of the world. You may be able to see little dots there along a ridge line. That's where we're going to be, right in the middle, and then it's like a sheer 50-degree drop going down a couple miles on that left side. And the next picture I'm going to show you, I didn't take this picture because I did not trust myself holding a camera at the time. That's what it looked like. So you have to have the skis in your back because you have your hands free for the guideline. You have crampons on the bottom, and you're roped in, tethered at your waist. If you should happen to slip, they just easily pull you back up. So, so at the end of that, and these are the Alps, at the end of that, we celebrated. There's Karen and I, we made it through. There's the Gita Medi behind us. People are putting on their skis, getting ready to ski down. It was a beautiful day, and you can see just a gorgeous area on some powder, but behind Karen, to the right, you can see some of these crevices in the ice, gaps that go down. You don't want to get too close to them, but that was our adventure right there. And so Stefano said, follow me if you want to live. Jesus, our good shepherd, also says, follow my voice if you want to live. Follow my voice. So with Jesus, we are not navigating treacherous glaciers and treacherous ridge lines, but following Jesus, I would say, is still a matter of life and death if we really want to live. Jesus says, follow my voice, I'll bring you to pastures. You go in and out, you'll find what really nourishes you in life. Jesus says, follow my voice, I will give you life, I'll give you abundant life, instead of the pretender voices that are thieves, stealing from your very life essence in a living death. Follow my voice, loving God, loving neighbor as much as yourself if you want to live. This past Tuesday, at the age of 96, a person with an amazing voice died. We're talking about following voices. Who had an amazing voice and died this past Tuesday? Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte was an amazing singer. He was one of the first Black performers to break into prime time with singing. He was born in Harlem, but his family was so poor, his mother had to return when he was age 8 back to her native Jamaica, and that's where she continued to raise him. And in Jamaica, Harry Belafonte learned and later popularized the song, what song? Deo, Deo, yes. And that became the first full-length album in U.S. history to go platinum. It was the first one. There's all these little subdivisions, but that one. Deo, you know the words, right? How does it go? Like, Deo, Deo, what? Daylight come and we wanna go home. Ready? Deo, Deo. Come on, choir. Daylight come and we wanna go. What's the phrase? Come, Mr. Tallyman, and tally me banana. Daylight come and we wanna go home. Isn't that a great song? Great song. It's incredible. I remember singing that song actually with Karen when she was just a baby. It was like a Rafi song. It was and actually Harry Belafonte didn't write it, but he certainly popularized that song. We don't always pay attention to the lyrics in that song. What are we talking about in that song? What's that? Yeah, slaves harvesting bananas. And where did the bananas go? To the Belmont supermarket, yes. Here. And when they're just like maybe economic slaves or maybe real slaves. And what time of day are they working? Why are they working at night? It's cooler. And so they're waiting for the morning light to come so they can stop and finally go home. They work all night long. And that too. That's in the lyrics. Okay, there's a lot of lyrics there. Yes, okay. There's like hundreds of lyrics, right? This is a lot of. You're making up a lot of lyrics while you're working all night long until the morning. And so Harry Belafonte was really glad that these lyrics could show and combat racial stereotypes about lazy people in the Caribbean. These are hardworking people, and he was proud of that. And only in the morning, when all the bananas were counted, could you go home. So with this hit song, Deo, Harry Belafonte had to decide which voice is he going to follow. Suddenly his life is comfortable, and what is he going to do with the platform of his life? He decided to follow the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. In fact, in 1963, it was Belafonte was one of the key organizers of the March on Washington for Freedom and Jobs. It was Belafonte was that person. He was known as the lieutenant of King. And the one where King gave the speech, "I Have a Dream." And Belafonte used his fame to bring in other celebrities, to do anything he could to make a difference. He felt he couldn't stay away from something like this, that he had to use his voice also. And it's amazing, I came across a photograph of some of the people that he brought in that were there. And so he was standing with James Baldwin, the famous writer. It was Charlton Heston, Marlon Brando. They're all there. Oh my goodness. Okay, there he is, recording studio. There's Belafonte with King. And here's this one photo I came across here. Charlton Heston, Marlon Brando, James Baldwin, and others in the background. And where's Bert?
Is on the left.
Oh,
Charlton Heston is the guy on the left.
that's Charlton Heston.
Oh, I saw a picture with Charlton Heston and him and Bert Lancaster.
Oh, okay, amazing, amazing. There were a lot of people there, and Belafonte was the one who was bringing them all in. He was using his voice to do that. And even that night, that same day, August 28th, 1963, there was a CBS News roundtable with David Schonbrun. It had all these people at the table, and I listened to the interview he had at the table, and there was Marlon Brando, and there was James Baldwin, there was Belafonte, there was Charlton Heston, and they're all talking about what happened on this day. Like, what did they just hear? What did they just experience? And the CBS moderator pointed at Belafonte and said, "You are one of the lieutenants for King." He said, "Yes, I am one of his lieutenants." And he said, "What?" And I asked him about that day, and Belafonte said it was a very powerful moment to see, he said 200,000 people, black people, but also some white people, and to know that a nation such as America, and the reason he said I struggle with it so hard and grapple with it so hard, because I really believe in the potential of this country, potential of our community, and what can be done. And that's why I'm following this voice. So while singing Deo for his adoring audiences, Belafonte, whatever he did behind the scenes, to follow this voice. He didn't see himself primarily as a singer, but as a follower of particular voices. The voice for jobs and freedom, the voice for compassion, for healing, equality, liberty, and justice for all. Belafonte was very realistic. He was the one who purchased life insurance for King, knowing that sadly, with all these threats coming in, one day his family would need to be taken care of. And that was their life insurance policy, purchased by Harry Belafonte. And over the years, he kept following this voice, even as recently as the 2017 Women's March. He was one of the key organizers behind that across the nation, always staying out of the limelight, but helping to do what he could do. Following one voice or another is not a trivial decision. Are we following a pretend voice where we're just wasting our time? Are we following a voice that will help lead us to life, help lead our communities to life? Which voices are we following in our life? And what is the voice of Jesus urging us to do today? Is that voice calling us to value of our life, of our school children so much that we can find a way for common sense gun laws? Is that what the voice of Jesus is calling us to do? Is Jesus calling us to walk with the lonely, with the grieving, to encourage others along the way, to share what we can, to celebrate with them in the joyful moments of their life? to stand against bullying, to walk with the homeless or the unhoused. Josh will be leading some of our youth and others to go down to Common Cathedral today. Sandwiches have been made, a couple different churches, to be in partner with those who are unhoused today. They're hearing that voice. What voice we follow has consequences. Life or death. Now, we don't have to navigate deep crevasses across a glacier. I'm not saying we have to follow the voice of Stefano. And I look back and I'm like, well, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And again, I've alluded it to, this is how I relate with my daughter, Karen. This is how I spend dad time with her. This is how we love each other. We go on adventures. We go on adventures together. So Stefano, our expert Italian guide in skiing, said, follow my voice if you want to live. Jesus, our expert guide in compassion and justice, in community and love, says, follow my voice. If you really want to live, to be alive, choose my voice. Choose an adventure with me. Choose life. Thanks be to God.